What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. It is Monday, August the 21st, 7 a.m. 10K to $2 million funding challenge back at it. Sponsored by the Bespoke Funding Program, where if you use discount code Venator, you get 15% off any challenge along with an 85% profit split. So hope you guys had a great weekend. It is almost the end of August. The summer is almost over. And maybe things will get back to the way they used to be. Can only hope. We can only pray. But, man, I'm glad to be back on the charts with you. I hope you guys have been safe. Nothing crazy happened to you this weekend. But we'll be back at it all week here every day, Monday through Friday. 7 a.m. You can follow me over on Twitter at Venator Trading. And then we have our Discord channel as well, which I'll throw that up over in the chat right now. So if you haven't been able to get on the Discord yet, get over there, man. Guys are over there putting in a bunch of community building and chart sharing and strat sharing and building. So make sure you get over there. But welcome in Cisco and Adrian, John Jones. Not going to tell me what kind of morning to have. Well, I don't want to tell you what kind of morning to have. I'm just going to tell you I'm tired. I've had a good weekend. Yeah, it was brutal hot here. It was absolutely brutal hot. It's brutal hot everywhere right now. It's summer. It's August. This is August, man. Every year in August, it's just miserable. Absolutely oppressive heat outside. Alpha Bridge, what's up? LOL, what's up, man? Mr. Alfie, good morning. Shadow Trades, what's up? Welcome in, man. Shadow Trades is putting up some amazing charts over in the Discord. If you haven't been over in the Discord and seen some of his stuff, man, he's calling some great moves. Michael, what's up? Cisco says you should put Discord link in video descriptions or something so I can link it every stream. Yeah, if I was smart and tech savvy, I would do all of those things. I need to do it. I just need to. You're right. I need to do that. Thank you, Cisco, for the push. I get summer supposed to be hot. 110 is stupid. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun to be outside in August in anywhere, really, but in Houston, God, it's just brutal. Luckily, we live right on the Gulf. I mean, we're right on Galveston Bay and right on the Gulf of Mexico, and so we get a little reprieve. The humidity's unbearable, but hot is hot. It doesn't matter. You get north of Houston. Like my daughter is up in college north of Houston a few hours, and she was showing me the feel-like temperatures outside yesterday were like 115. I mean, it's just brutal hot. You got to stay in the shade, drink lots of water. It's not fun. Not fun at all. Biolemansky, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome in. Yesterday here in Texas, I want to say it was around 108. While down here in Houston, the feel-like temperature outside was like 110, something like that. But the humidity here is what kills. I mean, it can be 90, and the humidity here is just always worse. And even in the winter with the humidity, it's cold, but then you add the humidity on top of it. It's like this wet cold. It's just even worse than like just being dry cold. There's the moisture in the air makes everything worse here, whether it's hot or cold. LOL says, where do you live? I live in Texas. I heard news there's a flood in California. The governor said not to leave your house. I haven't seen the floods in California. I mean, there's a Hurricane Hillary heading over there, barreling down. It may have already hit. I'm not sure, but It was like a Category 3 hurricane headed towards towards California. But it is hurricane season here in the States. All the dry, hot air is blowing off of the Western African coast, and it makes its way across the Gulf, warms up over the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico, and then it just turns into just these crushing, massive storms. And so it is hurricane season. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Since Hurricane Harvey, we really haven't had any kind of major system come through the Houston area. So maybe we'll be fortunate to miss that again this year. We'll see. Good morning, Michael D. Yeah, Mr. Alfie, I'm with you, man. It's the humidity. Always the humidity. Always the humidity. Shadow Trade says a suggestion, maybe you might want to do a Twitter giveaway, probably 3 10x accounts, and attach YouTube, and YouTube link is the task. Then you reward the previous active participants on your tweets. Yeah, I've done that a little bit. We may do another one. I'm going to do just one more 10K account this week, and then I'll sit down with Bespoke hopefully this weekend and have a chat about how our first month went. I can see, and they'll show me the stats about, how the sponsorship worked for them and how I felt like it worked for me. And, we'll see what we can, if we can improve the situation for our followers at all. But we'll see. What's up, Red? Welcome in, man. All right, let's get to some analysis. This is going to be a pretty short stream today. Number one, it's Monday, so it's always shorter anyway. But a friend of mine has talked me into working out with him this morning, and I told him I didn't want to. And anyway, he wouldn't leave me alone about it, so I'm going to go work out with him. Usually I work out in the afternoons, but I don't know. He's just been bugging me about it. So I'm probably only going to stay on about an hour-ish today, and then I'm going to go do that. I won't do that again, but it was kind of one of those things I was like, if I don't just say yes and go do this one morning with him, he's not going to ever stop. So I'm just going to go do it and get him off my back and tell him, yeah, that sucked. I did it. I tried it, but I'm not going to do it anymore. It's not CrossFit. It's similar to CrossFit, but I'm going to go do it and be sore. Because it's not that I normally just, I lift a little every day, and then I do some cardio every day, but he's more intense and it's not going to be fun. And I'm going to hurt. I'm going to hurt. I know I am. Especially at 48, I'm not meant to do the things that 28-year-olds do anymore. So pray for me. It's not going to be fun. So anyway, I'll probably, we'll be on for at least an hour. We'll do some analysis. We'll see what's going on. Kind of draw out where our expectation is for the week. And, we'll see what we see. We see what we see. All right, so starting here on Euro Dollar. What do we see? We had a big down close last week. We displaced below these lows. My anticipation is that this weekly low is going to get tapped in at some point this week. We've opened and shot up back into this daily fair value gap. It could come up all the way and fill in this whole imbalance here up into this wick, this old swing low here. It could come all the way up to 2 weeks ago, that bottom wick as well. It doesn't have to, but that could be a short-term draw on liquidity, just bullish. We've had a big retrace down from this leg up. I don't know that we're ready to just make another run and charge higher. We might, but I doubt it. I think we're gonna come up, and then I still think these lows are gonna get swept from last week in these lows here. If you look on the daily, we tapped right into this weekly order block. We touched the top of it. We did not get down to these relative equal lows right here. So, we've created a nice little swing. We opened today. We basically opened, we dropped 1 pip from the open. 1 pip right here is all we did. We opened, we dropped a pip, and then we've just gone up. So we're coming back into this daily fair value gap, which we know has held once we traded through it and it was violated. It has held as an inverted fair value gap right here. We've traded through it. It's held it down, held it down, held it down, and now we're coming back up into it. So we'll see how it responds inside this daily fair value gap. But you can see our big weekly fair value gap down here and these relative equal lows on the daily. So that's still kind of where my eye is drawn for the week. At some point, I think we will get back down into there and sweep that liquidity out. So for the meantime, you potentially might see a small little reversal back up here on the daily time frame as we're starting to make lower lows and lower highs before it wants to run this liquidity. If that's the case, then you would be looking up here into this daily fair value gap just above this this daily fair value gap here. There's nothing in here besides this inverted fair value gap that really gets my attention on the daily time frame. So we would just be looking at a premium discount level, possible OTE for the last swing down. So that's kind of where I'm looking. We'll just wait and see as we get this push up. Is there any kind of liquidity grab, which we've taken out last Friday's high. So now that we've taken out last Friday's high or Thursday's high, anything up in here, will there be any displacement down to cue us that we're going to aim for this liquidity here? We'll see. On the 4 hour, you can see we've taken out this little swing high. This is the swing high I would be most interested in. It's the one that took out the old swing, and so this old low here. So as we get into this is the area I'm going to be looking for. This also lines up with the daily pivot point here, this old swing low over here. So potentially could see a run up above into these highs, little inducement down, and we take out the lows down here. It's kind of where my eye is drawn. On the 1 hour, we've taken out several chunks of buy-side liquidity. We tapped into that daily fair value gap down here, and we just started making higher highs, higher lows, small little trend. You can see we've had a quick little move up overnight here through the London session back into the daily inverted fair value gap, which is this yellow, brown, orange box. I don't know what color it shows up on your screen as. So that's just where we're sitting at. 30-minute time frame, 15, here we go. So overnight, as we came into London, we dropped down. We came into this order block, rebalanced these fair value gaps, took out sell side liquidity, and displaced higher. This is the candle right here, the last up close candle. Once it was displaced through and closed above, it would have been a valid breaker. Inside of that, you have your fair value gap right there. And you would have been wanting to get inside that fair value gap or 50% of the breaker. If you had just done 50% of the breaker, that would have been there. Your stop would have been below the bodies, at minimum, the bodies of the candles that created the fair value gap. So if you take in a 50% entry, you would have gotten in there. If you targeted the fair value gap, you would have gotten a pretty good sniper entry. If I had used this, I probably would have used these swings as the target. I mean the stop, and you still would have had a 1 to 2 either entry you would have taken there. Nice little breaker setup there on euro dollar overnight in London. Don't know if anybody caught that, but that was a nice little setup on the London session as you got displacement through. Now, if you were bearish, if you had a bearish bias, you may not have taken that. That is a little bit of a counter trend trade. But still, that's exactly the setup I trade here. I look for a run of liquidity. I look for displacement away. I look for the last up close candle. In this instance, an up close candle that before we ran liquidity, and then we displaced away. We identify the fair value gap and breaker, and then it's a simple entry after that. Let it play out. But don't know if anybody caught that, but there was a nice little euro dollar setup. So for this morning, could be these equal highs up here. Any of these old swing highs, I'll be looking and anticipating a move lower to see if we get displacement lower. It doesn't have to happen today. It may not happen until we've got news Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. Let me see. I don't think we have anything there's absolutely no news today. Tomorrow, nothing. There's some medium impact existing home sales news coming out. Wednesday, Euro has some red folder news with the flash manufacturing. Pound also has the same, and then the dollar also has the same. So we got a lot of manufacturing numbers coming out Wednesday. Thursday, we've got unemployment claims, and then Friday, Fed Powell speaks at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so anytime that man opens his mouth, things can go a little haywire. So we'll just have to watch and see what happens there. But for me this morning, I'm not saying I wouldn't take a long, but I'm more inclined just to wait for my bearish setup there. If today and tomorrow we just stay super bullish, maybe my bias changes. We do have a little S&T on the dollar and the DXY that we'll look at, meaning that the DXY took out this correlating low or high on the dollar, which is this correlated drawn liquidity here on euro. So that sometimes will signal that we're ready to do a reversal. That one asset class that typically is moves in correlation with another asset, when one of them does not take out a corresponding lower high, it can often signal a reversal. So potentially we could see a switch up here on euro dollar and head a little higher. But until I see some higher time frame confirmations where we're getting displacement and closes and then higher lows put in, I'm going to stay bearish on this and anticipate this drawn liquidity getting run down here. Last week's low is where my eye goes for sure first, and then these lows over here. All right, so there's euro dollar. We'll look at pound. GBP, these relative equal lows here are where my eye goes. Of course, we're kind of chopping around in GU right now, just kind of consolidating, engineering liquidity to the buy side and the sell side. So it's not as clean and clear cut as EU is, but I am more inclined to think that this liquidity is going to get run at some point before, if we want to run higher here. On the weekly, we had this push up, we rejected, pushed down, and now we're just back inside this little range right here. And so this is August. It's just choppy. There's not anything pretty going on there. Nothing, especially on the 4 hour when you chop down, you can see it very clearly. We're just inside this sideways range right here. So when you're in a range like this, you don't really want to trade in the middle. You want to trade to the extremes or away from the extremes. So you're going to be waiting for potentially runs on liquidity above these highs, and then displacement back down where you can run back into the middle of the range or towards the other side of the range. You don't really want to do much inside here. If I see this liquidity and I see displacement away, then I might want to get short here, if anything. But I think I would like to see some more of this liquidity get taken, maybe even this liquidity taken before you get displacement down into these sell side areas down here. So not a whole lot. You potentially could look for a move up into those extreme areas of the range up in here. You can see overnight it wasn't as clean. While euro was moving up, GU was kind of moving down in the opposite direction. So just choppy. We did grab sell side. We kind of moved up. We didn't displace higher. We moved back down, and now we've displaced higher. We've taken out buy side liquidity targets. There's a few more relative equal highs up here that we could reach up into today. But again, I'm probably going to be very neutral biased today. Probably not going to be looking to get into the markets. I'm never really ever looking to get into the markets on Mondays. But I'm here just to kind of talk it through with you guys. So that's my weekly routine, and I'm going to stick to it unless I see just a beautiful trophy buck walk out. I'm just enjoying the view today. I'm going to see how everything is starting to set up for the week. DXY, we'll go to the weekly time frame. We'll start up here. So we've had this big push up after running this sell side liquidity on the weekly time frame. We grabbed it, a quick stab up, and now we're having a quick move away from all of this sell side liquidity. We've taken out the last swing high. We failed to displace above it, which does potentially signal these are the highs. Excuse me. These are the highs that on Euro, it was the lows that we didn't take out. And you can see we tapped up into it. We failed to displace and close above those highs. So we could potentially see a little reversal here on dollar, a short-term reversal as we retrace this 5-week bullish move here all the way up. There's a fair value gap way back down here. I don't know that we're going to go that far. There's really, other than just kind of rebalancing last week's action and maybe getting back down to this fair value gap here, there's not really, and potentially looking for getting price back to a discount or an OTE level. That fair value gap does line up with a discount and OTE level, so that's a long-term move over the next several weeks. Maybe it comes back down. I don't know. This is still, my eyes are still up here on these relative equal highs. I still think at some point the dollar's going to want to get back up there into that 106 range and tap back into that buy side liquidity right there. I don't know that we will. That's just where my gut goes and where my eye goes. So forget that this is a weekly chart. Just think of this as a 15-minute chart. Where is the draw on liquidity? Well, we've run sell side liquidity and we've returned back into the range. So now your eye turns to these prominent swing levels and the relative equal highs. So that's kind of where my eye goes on the weekly. Even though you might get a week or two where it's a pullback, this is kind of still my higher time frame draw on liquidity up here. So on the daily, these are the relative equal highs we took out last week. Excuse me. This is the daily fair value gap that we saw on Euro. Once it was traded through, it becomes an inverted fair value gap. It should have held price down. It did not. And so we've wicked above this order block. We've closed above this fair value gap. As it returns back down, we would anticipate that this becomes an inverted fair value gap and would push the dollar higher. If it's going to come down, again, this would correlate with a stronger euro dollar and pound dollar for the first part of the week. So potentially Monday, Tuesday, you get a low of the week here, and then you could potentially get a little swing and back up. On the 4-hour, swing low, swing high. We'll just be watching these as liquidity gets run. We're tapping into sell side here. It's nothing crazy that I see that I would be like, it's just kind of moving sideways. This looks more like GU than it does EU right now. GU's kind of doing this, and this is just the opposite direction. Taking out sell side liquidity. Again, as it would reach down into these levels, potentially these levels here, do we get any kind of displacement higher and a break of structure potentially on like the 15-minute time frame here? Taking out sell side, all of this liquidity is getting swept. These swing lows coming back into rebalancing this fair value gap. My eye goes to these relative equal lows down here. And then, of course, our daily fair value gap could be a short-term draw on liquidity that we would anticipate price then reversing. You have a lot of clean buy side up here that it's engineering, that it has engineered, excuse me. So we'll watch and wait and see if we can how this area here plays out as a means of liquidity to tap into or run through. GJ, still bullish, nothing but bullish. Last week on Thursday and Friday, we had a gap down. We came back in, rebalanced the fair value gap, and then since we opened at 184,841. We dropped down a couple pips at the open and then have just shot up on GJ. Weekly, you can see just extremely, extremely bullish. Coming into here, that's your next kind of major draw on liquidity right there, that swing level. It shows no signs of wanting to give, any kind of good pullback. It's just pausing for a couple days and then it's ripping. Again, caution here on, I would be bullish, but just know the Bank of Japan, with the yen being so weak, at some point they're going to do something. They will not continue to stand by and watch their currency weaken and weaken and weaken. They will make an effort of some kind to restore some balance there with the other currencies. And when they do, you'll see this kind of stuff, but even maybe a deeper dive down. But until then, it's bullish. Nothing but bullish. I'm not sure if there was any opportunity. There was no opportunity here, I don't think, overnight. Just grabbed some sell side and then it's just ripped higher. There was no opportunity to, at least on the 15-minute time frame for the breaker strategy, there was no opportunity here to catch that move up. Just ripping, rebalancing some of these moves here. This was the gap. So all of this imbalance here is getting tapped back up into obviously relative equal highs up here. So nothing clean on the breaker setup there for GJ, but obviously still bullish. So anytime you can get some moves like this where price consolidates, you get a stab lower into sell side and then displacement higher. That's what we would be anticipating this week again as well. Just consolidation, run sell side, displace through, and then identify our breaker to continue higher. We need a new chat pair for the week. It was dollar CAD last week. We didn't get any good setups playing out over there on that. With a short-term weaker dollar, you can obviously see just a massive trend line here starting to get run through already. This is retail. Any trend line traders are just getting hammered right now. There's a lot of swing points and a lot of liquidity under here that dollar CAD is going to want to reach into. How many of these does it want to tap into before it reverses and continues higher? Don't know. We'll just have to watch and wait really to see if there's any daily fair value gaps in here. No. This daily fair value gap all the way back down here at the beginning of August. I don't think we're going to get down that far. This is the daily fair value gap we're inside of right now that is holding price down. We tapped right up into this order block and we're starting to pull off. So Potentially you come back down into this order block right here as a swing level before you run more of these relative equal highs back up over here. That was the 4 hour. We just looked at that. On the 1 hour, you can see we're just running sell side liquidity here, and our trend line on the higher time frame trend line is getting trashed right now. So we'll wait and see where the see what happens over the next couple of days, where the low of the week we think might be put in. So dollar CAD's not our pair. If you guys want to drop in some pair options for the chat to watch this week, you're more than welcome to. We'll vote on it here in just a minute, but you can start dropping some chat pairs in the chat down there. And we'll vote on that here in a minute. US 30 has taken out and violated the daily fair value gap here. This was our draw on liquidity last week. We tapped into it. We closed below it, aggressively below it, Thursday, Friday. Now, today we would anticipate, again, once a fair value gap is violated, this PD array, price delivery array, is violated. And instead of holding price down, it was traded through. When it returns to it, we can anticipate it becoming an inverted daily fair value gap. So we would anticipate as US 30 comes back up into here, it can come all the way up to the top of this, but it doesn't have to. We would just anticipate overall that price will struggle as it gets back up into there, potentially creating a new lower high and then taking out, if it doesn't take out today's low or Friday's low, we would have a swing here, a swing level. So if it comes up, then you would come down here. Then you have some daily fair value gaps that you would anticipate being a draw on liquidity at these levels down here. And then obviously relative equal lows even further down back from June and July. So this little fair value gap here is what we'll keep our eye on. If it can close back above it, if this was just a liquidity grab, so be it. But this I'll be watching this to see US 30. What does it do with this daily fair value gap from that it just trashed last week on its way down? All right, chat pair. You guys put it in there. We'll get it going and get a vote up on the chat pair for the week. While you're doing that, I'm going to scroll back up and look at the. I'm going to catch back up on the chat stuff. Michael says, got my workout in today already. Yeah, you guys have been up for a few hours, man. I've only been up for just over an hour now, so I do not have my workout in yet. Good morning, Galaxy Tab. John, CrossFit. I play real sports. I'm not trying to be like the best at exercising. Yeah, the CrossFit crew is very cultish. They definitely are like kind of snobby about the way they work out a little bit, you know. They kind of look down their nose at a lot of other people. Some of them, not all of them. I have a chiropractor friend of mine who says that he has job security because of all the CrossFit people. He's like, I see more people come in with injuries and sports injuries from CrossFit than any other sporting. He's a sports chiropractor. And he's like, it's the CrossFit people that are always in pain and have messed something up. So I try to stay away from it. It's not CrossFit, but it's a similar like intense gladiator type, you know, stupid workout. And until I just go do it, and this guy's not going to leave me alone. Galaxy Tab says, Venator Trading, I was not in the live stream on Friday, but when I looked at it later on in the day, I heard that you were looking for a way to trade via TradingView. I would love to be able to trade from TradingView. If the futures, a lot of the futures brokers use TradingView and you can execute live trades on TradingView. I mean, it's not the end of the world that I have two terminals here, one for streaming and charting, and then I just have the execution terminal laptop right over here to my left, and it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But I mean, it would be great to be able to do it all straight on one machine. And My Funded Futures is launching. I think they're launching this week. So we'll see. And I will be participating in that. I'll try them out. I'll start with a small challenge with them and see. Just to see. I want to see how their system works and how actually trading on the platform works and how the firm looks and all that. Alpha Bridge, the best thing you can do as a trade is doing some workout. Destroying our body in the gym is so helpful for the brain. I 100% agree with you, man. If you don't have self-discipline in other areas of your life, I've always said this, you're not going to have it when you sit down to trade on the charts. So when you approach the way that you approach your life outside of the charts, you should have the same intensity. You should have the same discipline. You should have the same focus and mental clarity that you do when you sit down the charts. You should be in control. And being in control means that you're taking care of yourself. You're doing things and making wise decisions for your health, for your money, for your family, all of those things, the way you eat, the way you work out. You should be the best version of yourself that you can be. And that means taking care of your body. So, and the physically better that you feel, the more mentally better and confident you're going to feel when you sit down to trade as well. So 100% agree. I think, having a good, healthy regime outside of the charts is only going to benefit you when you sit down to trade. What's up, Beeswax? Is it possible? Good day. I've been in losing streaks, almost blew both my 10 challenges. Sorry about that, man. Losing streaks happen. We're in one right now. We're in a bit of a drawdown. I didn't update my, I need to update my funded or my account balances because we took a little bit, we actually made a small break-even profit. I need to get the new numbers up here. We'll do that in a minute. But losing streaks happen. You're going to go into drawdown. You're not going to be green every single month. We were red in July. We're break-even for August. And we still got a few trading days left here for August, so we'll see if we can, if August is going to be red or green for us as well. But I anticipate things are going to turn around for us here. I'm not worried about going into drawdown. I'm not worried about having losing streaks. I know that they're going to come. They're going to happen. And there's no system that's going to work perfectly all year long in every market stage. It doesn't exist. There's no system that has an 80 or 90% win rate every week, every month, every year. It does not exist. So just stay focused on your A+ setups and only execute when you see it. Don't worry about the next trade. Don't worry about the last trade. You need to be focused on the next 100 trades. Michael says, I looked at that trade, but I've decided not to trade the manipulation move away from the dollar trend. Yeah, me neither. Nusla, good morning. David Dreams, good morning. Daz, hey buddy, I took a week off on holiday. Good to be back. Welcome back, Daz. Hope you had a good holiday break. Hopefully your mind is refreshed and you're ready to get back at it. Cisco, UJ gave a chance to get in, but I missed it and have been salty all morning. Well, I mean, you know how I feel about quote unquote missing moves. If the trade setup was there and you failed to execute, then you got to figure out, why did you not execute that? Don't be salty about missing the move. Be more salty about why did you not follow your plan. Now, if you just missed it because you weren't on the chart at the right time, you didn't see it, no big deal. But it's fine, man. You know this. There's going to be setups that happen every single week. Your trading career is not going to be built. Your challenge is not going to be built or passed or failed on any one trade. So just focus, let it go, and wait for the next bus. Cisco says, chat pair, silver, Michael. Well, since you said gold was playing nice recently, should be that. John, agree, gold. Oh boy, here comes the Gilded Gals, man. Are we taking another trip to the Gilded Gal this week? Michael, oh, we already said that. UJ, Oil. Muhammad, good evening. Took the first stop loss of the week. Yeah, just there's no rush. That's why I said in the chat earlier, guys, you don't have to rush into Monday thinking I'm going to find a beautiful trade. You might, but more often than not, Mondays is the opposite direction of where the week actually wants to go. And you can get choppy, you can consolidate, it can just engineer liquidity for Tuesday's high or low of the week, and then it's gone and off in the opposite direction. So just be patient on Mondays. Don't rush in. We have plenty of other days to trade. You only need to win a trade a week, or I mean, there's no reason to jump in and immediately try to start, just chomping at the bit to find a move in the market. Do you do jiu-jitsu? I do not do jiu-jitsu. I've never done any kind of martial arts or fighting, wrestling kind of workouts. I'm a lover, not a fighter, baby. What's up, Ryfin? Welcome in. Michael, you can trade from TradingView through a Oanda demo account and use this the master account and trade copy. I could. You're exactly right. I could do that. I haven't tried it. I know some other people that have tried it, and they've had some latency issues between the Oanda account when it gets triggered and then how fast it gets over to the actual trade copiers, which messes with slippage and all that. So again, I'm fine. It's no skin off my back it doesn't take any more time. It's basically when I have two laptops back to back, I use the mouse for this, and then I use this mouse for MT5. And it's literally just like going to another window on the same laptop, another video screen. I just open it up on MT4, and then I know exactly that it's set right. It's not that big of a deal to me. I know there's a lot of people that hate it. It's not that I don't hate it. I mean, sure, I'd prefer it all in one thing, but it's not horrible. Like, it's just not that big of a deal to me to have to go over to the other laptop and trade off of it. So Dad says that's okay, but bespoke spreads are so good, not likely to get the same entry. Correct. Bespoke their raw spreads are fantastic, and their slippage is basically non-existent. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so Eurodollar just taking off here. Dollar showing a lot of weakness again. Potentially seeing these relative equal lows get run today. Besides, this was the dollar setup that was the opposite of the euro setup. We ran the buy side liquidity, displaced through, came back up, rebalanced, and then we're just dropping lower here. GU has almost tapped into those relative equal highs up there. Those are definitely going to get hit, I would think. All right, let's do the chat pair vote. So I've seen gold, I've seen UJ, I've seen say silver. I've seen 2 golds and 2 UJs, I think. Maybe just 1 UJ. I know there's 2 UJs, 2 golds. I see an Aussie dollar. I see an oil. There's another UJ. Do you use green screen or just a background? It's just a background remover. No green screen. I just keep the Venator logo up behind me. All right, looks like UJ is getting some love. Any other options? You guys throw them down there in the chat, and then we'll get a vote on the top 2. And we'll let the chat fight it out. I'm going to get the poll up. I definitely know UJ is going to be on the poll, so I can... USD, JPY. And we'll add... I've seen a couple people say gold, but looks like a lot of UJ love. And while you're typing in the chat, make sure you tap that like button as well. Should go ahead and get that up and going. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet yesterday from that DM message. I literally get, I probably get 4 or 5 people every day dropping in my DMs. Absolutely just the first message. If you can even, there's something wrong with their Google Translate. Obviously, it's a foreign language that they just hit Google Translate and they copy and paste. So it usually just comes out as a bunch of gibberish, and you just kind of have to decipher on your own and interpret what they're trying to say. But they always start off with something like, "Oh, sir, you are amazing. I am destitute and poor. My mom is dying. My fish died. My dog is starving. Please, sir, give me a free account. And it will change my life, and you can change. I will love you forever," something like that. And then I'll say, "Hey, glad you're here. You can check out the YouTube channel and learn how to trade. Also on Twitter and Discord. You can also get in there in the free community and learn how to trade." And so I put all that information in there, and then they'll say, "I just want a free account. Please just give me a free account." And I'll say, "I do giveaways on the live stream on Fridays. That's your best chance to do. I don't hand out accounts to anybody." And then without fail, every single time, they immediately send some message like I tweeted out, where it's just like, "You're evil. I can't believe you hate me. Bad things are going to happen to you." But it's all gibberish. Like, it's like the worst form of AI that came up with this message. I'm like, even with Chat GPT, you could easily just go into Chat GPT and say, "Write a response in English that's casual or formal or whatever," and I mean, I don't know, man. Why would you spend all of your time just direct messaging people, begging for free accounts in their direct messages? I don't understand. Like, do people actually give them free accounts? Does that actually happen? Why else would they be in everybody? And it's nonstop, man, nonstop. I get them all the time. But I just thought that one was funny. It was especially gibberish, and it was just like, karma's gonna come get you, man. Karma, like that's gonna scare me into saying, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I don't want that bad karma juju. I better give you a free account." So I don't understand, man. It's pretty humorous to me. It's pretty humorous to me that people act like that. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't bother me. I know people were like, "Just ignore it, bro." Like, I wasn't posting that to honestly ask you, "What should I do?" It was tongue in cheek and very sarcastic. Like, I wanted you guys to see that one and share in some of the chuckles that it gave me when I was trying to read it. I read it to my wife, and she was just looking at me like, "What language are you speaking to me right now? Like, what does that even mean?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I really, really, really don't know." But everything always starts with some kind of sob story. And the problem is, I'm so cynical at this point from all of the obvious scam messages that people try to run on you, that you can't ever tell when someone's actually being legitimate and actually is in a really bad situation and actually is a really great person and actually really could use help, versus all of the other people that are just idiots. And if they would spend all of that time and energy learning how to trade versus just spamming people on Twitter or Discord or whatever, their lives would be infinitely more beneficial and probably prosperous than what they're currently experiencing. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of patience. And again, I hate being a cynical person. I hate assuming that when I see a message like that, that I just immediately assume scammer. That's what I immediately assume. And I hate feeling like that, because I'm not a negative person. I mean, you guys sit here and you know me. You've seen me on here almost 100 days now in a row. We're approaching our 100th episode. We've got about another month and we'll cross 100 live streams in a row. So that's cool. But if anything, you should know, like, I'm not a negative person. I want to help you. I want to be positive. I want to encourage you. That's really what I'm trying to do. And I hate feeling cynical when I get messages like that on Discord or Twitter. So, because I do want to help people, but I am not ever just going to handpick and give anyone a free challenge. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to have a favorite. I'm not going to be, I want to keep it a free giveaway. And if you win it, you win it. You come into the live stream, you retweet, you post on a video, whatever the qualification is, you do that. I've narrowed it down so that you have to be on the live stream, and there's only 30, 40, 50 of you. So you have your best shot at winning a free challenge just by being on the live stream. And like, you have a 1 in 50 chance. That's better than most of these other giveaways where, you've got 5,000 people retweeting or posting or tagging 3 people or whatever it is. So anyway, I thought it was humorous, and I wanted you all to share in just a little bit of my day that happens every single day, filtering through some of those crazy comments, man. Crazy comments. All right, so I'm not sure what happened there. Hey, Corey, welcome in. All right, Dollar, I see UJ and I see Gold. We're going to do the chat pair. Ask your community. Here we go. UJ or Gold? What's it going to be? Y'all vote. Y'all get those votes in, and we'll see what happens. But there was a lot of UJ love, so while we're doing that, somebody asked if we can look at Pound Aussie. We sure can. We can go over and look at Pound Aussie. All right, daily time frame. Friday, we had an inside day on Friday. We've opened. We haven't taken out Friday's high or low, which means we also have not taken out Thursday's high or low. We have a decent fair value gap down here on Pound Aussie. It's in a very bullish uptrend, obviously. So much like GJ, I would be looking for buys. I would not be looking to take counter trend trades here necessarily. But these daily fair value gaps, you have a small little fair value gap right here, and then you have a couple down here. Could be a short-term draw on liquidity from this swing low to this swing high. Could be looking for a discount price if you're a counter trend trader. It's just moving sideways here. This 4-hour chop, we're engineering liquidity, buy side liquidity, relative equal highs, swing lows underneath here. You've got some 4-hour fair value gaps underneath there. It's just choppy here. There's nothing super clean. This is not an ideal trading condition. You're just inside of a range. There's nothing. I don't see anything here. You're just moving sideways. And so you're in a range. You don't want to trade while you're in the middle of this range. You're going to want to see either buy side taken and then displaced back down, or sell side taken and then displaced back up. And in this instance, because you're bullish, you're going to want to see sell side taken, a bullish displacement up. We really haven't had This internal liquidity, not enough for me to call sell side. I want to see it's created relative equal lows down here. And you've got some more liquidity under here. So we're bullish. We'll be looking for bullish price action. And until this is not doing this, I don't want to participate. I wouldn't want to participate in any of this. There's just nothing high probability there. That is just chop. This is a seek and destroy profile. You don't want to trade in that. At least I don't want to trade in that. If you're looking, I know you had said a potential, whoever said that, you have this run on liquidity here, you have displacement away, but all it's done is run right back up into this buy side and it's traded right back down into the range. It is rebalancing here. You are bullish. Potentially you could see a run up into these highs, but there's just nothing super clean about this right here because we're in this range. With these relative equal lows down here, it came down, it left this low in place. I would be very, very cautious about seeing those lows get run. It could run up and grab this buy side and just rip back around, which is what it's just engineering liquidity. It's Monday. Friday was an inside day, and Monday we're still inside Friday's range. That's not a high probability trading scenario. So it's just an ugly chop right now. You're going to get chopped up. Don't go in there. Don't go in there. All right, what's the where are we at on the chat pair here? We are USDJ. Only 18 people have voted. There's like almost 40 of you guys in there. Only 18 votes. Either nobody's watching the stream and it's just on in the background and they don't know what's going on, or they truly just don't care what the chat pair of the week is. Which is fine. All of that is completely fine. You don't have to vote. But some people really care about it. We'll give it another 3 more minutes. We'll go all the way up to the top of the hour with it, and then we'll see where it goes. And then I'm probably going to have to get off. What time is this? Yeah, I'm going to have to get off in about probably 15 minutes this morning, and then I've got to go work out. God, I'm not looking forward to this. Whew. If I cancel the live stream tomorrow, you know why. It's because I can't move and get out of bed from this stupid... And it's outside. It's like outside / warehouse. That's what I'm saying. It's CrossFit-esque, but it's not CrossFit. I told him, I was like, dude, I'm not doing... He's like, it's not CrossFit, man. It's not CrossFit, I promise you. And he's a good friend. I really love this dude. But he has been on me and on me and on me about doing this. And so I'm just going to go do it. Karma gonna get you, but not get me for calling you names, wishing you die. That's the funny part to me. It's like, how come I'm the only one that's gonna get karma, not you? How come you're not gonna get karma for wishing evil upon me? Like, I don't, do you understand what you're saying? I don't think you do, obviously. Take care, Brad, handouts. What does that even mean? It was the funniest. It's probably the funniest one I've gotten. It was the most gibberish. It was obviously the guy, whatever language he was, or girl, whatever language they were using, they just threw it into Google Translate. I think that's my best guess. They just Google Translate. No matter what comes up, it's a copy and paste. No punctuation, just run-on sentences, bad grammar. no concept of the English language whatsoever, which I'm not saying you have to be able to speak perfect English, but there are basic things that, you could run it through before you just hit copy and paste to make it sound a little bit more coherent, at least. He definitely felt like he was stroking out. Corey, I hope gold doesn't win. Corey, I think you're in luck, man. UJ is taking the prize here. All right, 7 a.m. We'll close the poll. It's UJ. It's UJ. No one wanted gold. Thank you, Michael. Please, I will take all of the prayer I can get. Any of that. All right, let's get UJ up. We can look at UJ here. We'll do some UJ analysis, and then I'm going to have to bail. UJ weekly, we're in an uptrend, just kind of like GJ. So here's the uptrend we've been in. We had a pullback. We closed above this swing level here. We have a fair value gap on the weekly time frame sitting right underneath us. We're inside this large fair value gap over here. So far, we have yet to close above that. We're pushing back. We pushed above it last week and pulled back, pushing back up into it again right now. So UJ is it all-time highs? It looks like all-time highs on UJ. That swing level from October of last year. In its sights, for sure. But our initial draw on liquidity is going to be last week's high. We'll see if we'll be able to get up above that. You do have this fair value gap here off of this swing low. So we had a swing low. We've pulled up. We've finally broken through that. We did close above that swing level last week. This fair value gap could be a draw on liquidity, but definitely you have last week's high and low is where I would be looking at. Daily fair value gap below us could potentially, again, it's Monday, so not a whole lot going on. We've tapped up into this daily order block right here. This daily fair value gap held price down, reversed off of it. We closed above it last week. Again, anytime a daily fair value gap gets traded through and violated, the potential for it to become an inverted fair value gap right here, we would anticipate price wanting to stay above it. About 50% down into it, you have this daily fair value gap inside of it. This is the old swing low that we displaced through. Right here, this up close candle initiated this run on sell side liquidity, and then we have displaced through it. You could have potentially have a little daily breaker block right here on UJ. This is a daily on the daily time frame, and you have that fair value gap inside. Oh man, I'm not gonna highlight. You can see it. There's a daily fair value gap right here and a breaker right there. So as we could potentially come back down into here before we run up, it is very bullish though. So you're getting a nice little, on the 4 hour, you've tapped in here to sell side liquidity, and you're starting to get displacement higher on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, again, run of sell side liquidity. Now you're getting displacement. This run on liquidity started right here. So potentially you have this set up on the hourly with your fair value gap right down in here. Could be a potential hourly breaker with your fair value gap right there. If you like those higher time frame plays, it would probably look something like this. That you could anticipate. That's the higher time frame. And then when you drop down into the 15-minute, here's your run on liquidity from Sunday. So this was Sunday night. Asian session, ran liquidity, displaced through, came right back down into, that's a beautiful breaker right there. Oof. You have these three up close candles, ran liquidity. You could even have used just this small one right there. It would have worked just as beautifully. Broke right back through. Inside the fair value gap, nested inside the breaker. Even if you had used the low, sniper entry. Not a bad setup there on UJ. Didn't really run liquidity here on the sell side before displacing through, and haven't had any good decent pullbacks since then. So from here on out, I would just be, this is the hourly breaker. I'm not going to leave this up here, but could potentially see a pullback into that. Obviously some imbalances here that it's reaching up into for the buy side imbalance. You have relative equal highs here, and then of course the swing high above that. So bullish. So looking for bullish setups, that means you're going to want to see a run of liquidity to the sell side and then displacement higher. So that's where my anticipation for UJ is a run of sell side, displacement higher, and look for a retrace before it continues its move up. Shadow Trade says the thing there is you're in Christ and he's in you, so what doesn't have effect on Christ can never affect in you. Imagine him saying that to Christ. It can never happen. Yeah, people talk out of their heads, man. It doesn't bother me, and I don't feel threatened by anybody. It's more humorous to me than anything. I mean, he's not going to change my life or my thoughts or my feelings based on some random direct message in Twitter. So all right, guys, be over in Discord the rest of the day. I will be watching the charts. If anything else comes up, we will post it on Twitter. Again, I'm not anticipating taking any big moves today, any positions, but I will be watching after I get off my workout anyway. So if I'm still alive, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right, y'all. Yeah, you can just call me Brad Handouts. That'll be I'm going to change my Twitter handle to Brad Handouts. I love it. All right, y'all. Y'all stay safe. Don't rush into anything today on Monday. Just be careful. We have plenty of days left to go and plenty of good setups to come. So be safe, happy hunting, and we'll catch you on Discord or on the stream tomorrow. Adios, y'all.